All right, let's dive into one of the biggest questions out there. I mean, a real head-scratcher that sits right at the intersection of physics, philosophy, and, well, us. It's this beautiful puzzle that scientists call the Goldilocks Enigma.
I mean, have you ever just stopped and wondered, why this universe? Out of all the possibilities, how did we end up in one that has everything just right for stars, for planets, and, for life? Because when you really start to dig into the fundamental laws of nature, it starts to feel, it feels less like a random accident and a lot more like a setup.
It's almost spooky, right? The cosmos seems, tailor-made for us. From the way atoms behave, all the way up to the expansion of space itself, it's like a million little dials had to be tuned to perfection. That's why scientists have this great nickname for it, a Goldilocks universe. You know the story, not too hot, not too cold, but for life to even get a chance, everything had to be just right.
So when we say just right, don't picture some cozy, gentle balance. Oh no, we're talking about an unbelievably precise, razor-thin balancing act. It's a universe living on a knife edge. Let's actually take a look at just how fine that edge really is.
So get this, the entire story of the universe. I'm talking from the Big Bang all the way to you, right here, right now. It all hangs on just a handful of numbers. That's it. These are what we call the fundamental constants of physics. They're basically the rule book for reality. And if you tweak any one of them, even by the tiniest fraction, the whole thing, the whole universe we know, just falls apart.
And that quote, man, it just nails it, doesn't it? The idea that life is balancing on a knife edge is a huge understatement. We're talking about a level of precision so fine that our minds can barely even wrap around it. It's not just unlikely, it's breathtakingly improbable. Okay, so let's get into the specifics. What's the actual evidence? What are these so-called cosmic coincidences that have so many brilliant people scratching their heads? All right, let's start with a number that physicists just call n. Simple name, but whoa. It's basically the strength of the electrical force, the stuff holding you together, compared to the strength of gravity. And its value is a 1 with 36 zeros after it, a massive number. Now here's the crazy part. If you made gravity just a teensy bit stronger, stars would flash and burn out almost instantly. A little weaker, they'd never light up at all. And you know what that means: no stars, no planets, and definitely no us.
But honestly, that's just a warm-up. Now let's talk about dark energy, the mysterious force that's pushing our universe to expand. For our universe to exist, its value had to be precise to 1 part in 10 to the 120th power. That's a 1 with 120 zeros after it, a number so big it's just meaningless to us. If it were any different, the universe would have either ripped itself apart before galaxies could form, or it would have just collapsed back in on itself. To put those odds in perspective, it's like throwing a dart across the entire known universe and hitting a 1mm bullseye.
And the thing is, the list of these lucky breaks just keeps going. It's not one thing, it's everything. It's gravity, being weak enough for stars to have long, stable lives. It's the unique properties of the carbon atom that make all of life's complex chemistry possible. It's even about neutrinos, these tiny little particles having just enough oomph to make sure supernovas can scatter heavy elements across the cosmos. Everything had to be perfect. So you really have to start wondering, right? Is this all just one giant, unbelievable coincidence? Or is there something else going on here?
And that question, that's what brings us to the main event. How do we explain this? Well, scientists and philosophers have come up with some truly mind-bending ideas to try and solve this Goldilocks enigma. So let's line up the usual suspects and take a look.
Okay, first up is something called the Anthropic principle. And honestly, it's less of a scientific theory and more of a logical trap. It basically says, well, of course the universe looks perfectly tuned for us. If it wasn't, we wouldn't be here to notice it. You see? It's a kind of observation selection effect. The very act of us asking the question filters out all the universes where we couldn't exist. It's clever, for sure, but for some it feels a little unsatisfying.
All right, suspect number 2, the multiverse. Now, this is a big one. The idea here is that our universe isn't the only one. It's just one tiny bubble in a vast cosmic foam of maybe infinite other universes. And in each of those bubble universes, the fundamental constants, those numbers we talked about, are different. They all get a different roll of the cosmic dice. So if you have an infinite number of universes, it's not just likely, it's inevitable that one of them would pop up with the winning numbers for life. In that sense, we're not special, we just won the cosmic lottery.
And then, things get even stranger with the simulation hypothesis.
The logic is actually pretty straightforward, if a little wild. It goes like this. First, assume it's possible for an advanced civilization to create a totally convincing simulated reality, like a really, really good video game. If they can make one, they can probably make millions or billions of them, right? So just by pure statistics, there would be way more simulated universes than real base reality universes, which means the odds are we're probably in one of the simulations.
So, you can see how these two ideas, the multiverse and the simulation, are really two totally different ways of looking at the problem. The multiverse is an idea that comes from cosmology, from theories about the Big Bang. It says reality is physical, it's just way, way bigger than we thought. But the simulation idea, that comes from philosophy and computer science. It says reality is made of information, and the physical world we see is just an illusion. It really boils down to this. Are we the product of infinite random chances, or are we the product of a deliberate, intelligent creation?
But what if it's neither? What if the answer isn't about random chance or some cosmic supercomputer? This is where the search for an explanation gets really weird. We're heading into territory where the line between hard physics and deep philosophy gets very, very blurry. And that brings us to a truly legendary physicist, John Archibald Wheeler. He came up with this radical, almost mystical idea he called the participatory universe. He pictured this incredible feedback loop where we aren't just passive products of the cosmos, but we are necessary participants in its creation. See, Wheeler took a bizarre rule from quantum mechanics, the one that says tiny particles exist in a fuzzy cloud of possibilities until you actually observe them, and he blew it up to the scale of the whole universe. He asked, what if the entire cosmos is like that? A haze of potential that only becomes real, that only snaps into focus when a conscious observer, like you, looks at it. In this view, we don't just live in the universe, we help bring it into being. And this idea opens the door to another pretty profound possibility. What if the universe isn't an accident? What if it's actually about something? This is what philosophers call a teleological universe, one with a purpose, an end goal. From this perspective, us showing up, consciousness itself, isn't some lucky fluke. It's the whole point. It's what the universe was trying to do all along, like it was engineering its own way to become aware of itself.
So, wow, after a trip like that, from the fundamental numbers of physics to the very nature of reality itself, where do we land? Well, the honest answer is we don't know. The Goldilocks enigma is still one of the great, wide-open mysteries of science and philosophy.
So, let's just lay out the options one more time. Are we just the result of an unbelievably lucky cosmic coincidence? Or was our existence basically guaranteed because we live in a multiverse with infinite chances? Could it be that none of this is even real in the first place, and we're all just living inside a giant simulation? Or is the answer the wildest one of all? That consciousness, plays a fundamental role in creating the universe? I mean, every single one of those possibilities completely changes what it means to be here. So I'll leave you with the big question. Are we a cosmic accident, a complex design, or something else entirely? The truth is, there are no easy answers here. And maybe that's the whole point. Maybe the universe isn't supposed to be just a home for us, but a puzzle. One that's just waiting for us to figure it out.